Hello and welcome back to What If Civilization Started Over? Waves Alternate History of WICSO, episode 15. Already, yeah, it's been a long time. So, leave a like and a comment down below if you like it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the description you will find my Discord server and the official WICSO Discord server. And without further ado, let's start right into this episode. We're gonna start in the Caspian region as Russian troops and the Caspian troops and the gray and yellow Kazakhstan troops make a joint front line to begin pushing back the old empire in this region. As we know, in this region there are only a few troops left from the old empire that fortified themselves because the old empire used a lot of troops to defeat the African Union, but now all they're coming back to prepare the next attack on the Russians. But while this happens, the Caspians and Russians and Kazakhstan countries can push back the old empire, recapturing the capital of the Caspians, making great moves, especially down here, capturing this major city, and almost and even push to the border of the puppet state of the old empire, the Persian puppet state. In this area, it's a bit harder for them to push, but still they're able to push deep into the country and reclaim a lot of land. In this move, up in Poland, you can see that the Russians make a small counteroffensive, not too far, but they can recapture some land from Poland, but they're not able to push into the capital area in any way. So they lose a lot of troops right here, while Roman troops that helped defeating the African Union and supported the invasion with supplying the old empire, slowly also push up again and start filling the front to the Russians. The Caspians, again, push deep into Roman captured territory, recapturing two major cities on the go, and even begin to push into old Imperial territory, as you can see right here. They cross the border and march right into it. Also down here, the Persian country loses all the territory, and also they can make and move into this country right here, pushing a bit up, especially on the border of the orange team right here. They can make some great moves, and this will be the front line for now. So the old empire struggles right here, struggles obviously right here, and the Romans can't really push here. So let's see what the old empire does. And if you guess it right, they're gonna start an invasion on the Caucasus. In the Caucasus, if you know if you watched the last episode or the I don't know, I think episode 13 was it. If you watch episode 13, you know that here is a defensive line from the old empire, a huge one, the strongest defensive line in the whole world, in the whole series, by far. And the Russians also have begun making a defensive line right here. Not as strong as the old Imperium, as the old empire planned this defensive line a long time ago. So they have the advantage right here. But with a huge air production, they begin bombing the defensive lines of the Russians, destroying a lot of forts, killing supply hubs, destroying supply hubs, killing of troops that are stuck in the defensive line. And with this maneuver, they're gonna start their first actual push against the Russians right here, and it's going pretty well. They bombed the area right here extremely hard. Troops get sent from these two areas up here, and now the old empire can slowly push these areas too, and with more bombing runs along the side to support the invasion, they are able to capture this major city right here. This puts the Russians in high alert because they know, oh, the world empire is beginning to attack us. And they will recall a lot of troops from down here to get up and make a defensive line right here, right on this border. And this will happen, and the old empire can easily retake their lost lands, recapturing this major city right here, also pushing even further, and are now at the next obstacle in the way, like this, at the next border, but with the superior air force, they can easily destroy a large amount of forts on this front, capture this major city right here, and with this major city, they can start the next push with enough supply and start pushing deep into Russian captured territory. Also, they make a push right here, capturing this major city right here also. So it's not looking really good for the Russians at this point. And the reason behind this is obviously that the old empire has a way, way stronger economy than the Russians. By far, they have I think the second strongest economy in the world. The strongest would be, now maybe they have actually the strongest economy in the world, the strongest military, if I would say it would be China, then the old empire, then Russia, then Rome, then India. India has the second in economy. They have a really strong economy. So it's Rome has even better army than the Indians, but this is solely of the fact that they're prepared. Produced their army a lot stronger because they knew that they need to fight this war, because the empire has planned this war all along to be dominant in Europe and Asia. So they're the center of this whole part, connected to all of these continents, and they want to be the power of these three continents: Europe, Asia, and Africa. With Africa, they have done it. There's no major power anymore in Africa, so they're able to control Africa with trade influence and such things. Also, they have basically ally with West Africa and with these two, and Asia. Asia is pretty damn dominated by India and China, and this is why the old empire helped Vietnam to defeat the South Chinese states, to have an ally in Asia. And now with the destruction of Russia, they would also have control over Europe, because they have full trade control over the Mediterranean, which a lot of countries use. And yeah, going back down to the Caspian region, the Caspians can make a great push to the front line, almost completely kicking out the old empire out of their lands and making some pretty big improvements on the front, pushing into the old empire and making some good ground. Also in Persia, they're able to push again on the border of this orange team, and with this, the old empire loses even more ground to the Caspians. While this happens, the Romans start a counteroffensive on these three major cities right here on the coast, starting to push up and capture this major city. With this, they can capture this major city, push to the Russian border, and capture this major city right here. Russian troops are ordered to attack this area right here, which they do, and this works pretty well, as they can encircle a lot of Polish and Roman troops right here. Russian troops start to invade quickly into this area to destroy this pocket. I know what's called encirclement. That's what it's called. But the Romans start advancement down here, while this border is less protected because the troops are moved up to encircle this area. And also down here from these two major cities, they start advancement down here, capturing this whole thing right here. The Russians are able to capture this major city, but it's too late. The Romans can push back these areas pretty fast and completely destroyed, I think, 50,000 troops of the Russians. So it's a lot of troops. With this major loss, they can recapture this major city right here and push to the border of the Russians. Also, give the capital of the Polish more breathing room, and slowly but surely they can push the Russians back, as the Russians need to focus on the old Imperial front line at this point, because it's pretty damn close to getting kicked out of the old empire. And so they lose all the ground in Poland, and Poland makes actually a small advancement into the Baltic area again, as it's the least protected area of the whole Russian front. reaching through, capturing 2 major cities on the go, and also down here, making some small advancements only with the spearhead to this major city right here. Going back to the old empire, they're gonna prepare naval invasions to Crimea to distract the old Imperial troops on this front, to get a connection right here and push into Russian land. This works well. They can land in Sevastopol, capture the major city right here, and distract a lot of troops, as this is a pretty strong naval invasion, growing really fast and completely kicking out the Russians out of the Crimean Peninsula. Russian troops get sent back. With this, they start a major offensive on this front, completely breaching the Russian front line right here, and capturing this major city, pushing up and encircling Russian troops right here. They're getting completely demolished, and now the Empire has again a almost full front line against the Russians in their own territory. They push also a bit up here because the Russians need to reorganize their complete army to stop this old Imperial invasion. Jumping back to Caspia, I know it's a lot of jumping around, but I'm out of breath. Caspia completely kicks out the old Empire at this point. They can easily push into old Imperial territory, capture this major city right here, capture this major city, and they also push up here. The Persian country also gets demolished. They lose a lot of land in this area, and the Caspians only lose a few troops with this push, so it's really worth it. The Caspians do a great job at pushing the old empire. Meanwhile, the old empire can retake this major city right here, push up the coast, and start advancing to the border, to the actual border of the Russian Empire, push up to these 2 major cities, and recapture both at the same time. And with this, they start the first advance into Russian territory in a long time, and it goes really well. The Russians are completely flabbergasted because they don't know what's happening. The economy is crumbling, the troops are undersupplied, and so on and so on. So this is why the Russians even lose this war. The old empire couldn't have won this war without this great economy. So only that, you know, these countries are not that strong, but they're not weak either. So all these together are probably as strong as the Polish, as the Romans. So I don't know. Let's go to Poland, if I say so. So they're gonna push up, completely capture this area right here. I think Lithuania is down here. I don't know what's called. I don't know. The central Baltic country of they push up this coast, capturing this major city right here, and now start also in spearhead to this major city right here. While all this happens, they're gonna start invasion on this major city right here, and also push up the coast of the Baltic Sea, capturing this major city, and completely capturing basically all of the Baltic countries, capturing this major city right here. Down here, the Russians start a counteroffensive, and it goes pretty well, even re-entering the Polish area down here, and capturing this major city right here, making a push for the capital again. But this doesn't work, as the Polish encircle the Russian troops right here, which will lead to another loss of 25,000 troops of the Russians captured and brought into prison, are now captured, and they also can capture obviously equipment, so they have a new equipment for this front, and can push up, capturing this major city right here in the spearhead, and completely capture the lands down below. And with this, the Polish front looks pretty bad for the Russians. They need to regroup their troops entirely. They pull out all of the troops out of the area right here on the coast of the countries right here, pull back the coast guards from here, pull back troops from up here entirely, all getting to the front to defend the Polish and some troops for the Old Empire. And this will lead to a small pushback of the Old Empire on this front, but not as far as there are only a few troops on this front of the Old Empire, because they don't really focus this front at all. The Old Empire can push back the Russians up here, up north, completely retaking all the land up here, capturing this major city right here, and also pushing up here, getting the entire bay right here, pushing up, completely capturing these lands, and the economy of the Russians is now completely crumbling. Soldiers retreat from combat and go out of the army. The army is shrinking rapidly as more and more troops resign and in favor of living a peaceful life. The Old Empire gets new troops every day, which will obviously help them to win this war, as they can send them right to the front line saying, in a few weeks we are at the Russian capital. And this is not even a lie, as the Russians are now completely losing the entire front down here in this area. Up here, they can actually push back the Polish countries and recapture this major city right here, encircling a bunch of Polish troops up here. Not as much, I think 15,000 would be a great number up here, pushing them back. But they get rescued by Polish boats from here to the front line and get sent straight back to here. So they can push back up and do more damage to the Russians, capturing this major city right here. The Russians lose 5,000 troops right on this front, which will lead to another massive front line to be expanded up north. They're currently trying to stop the trade from Russia right here, pushing this major city right here, cutting the Russians off the Baltic Sea, and now the Russian trade is completely stopped, or the main trade is completely stopped and the Russian economy is now even faster crumbling. The Romans push up, creating an even larger front line, pushing from major city to major city. As you can see right here, they push down here to this major city right here. And down here, they just fill in the area to have better supply lines and to not get cut off easily. They push up here, capturing this major city right here. And now it's only a matter of time until the Russians surrender over to the Old Empire. But the Russians won't give up that easily, as they see this as a great betrayal from the Old Empire, as they were the former allies, and just jumped them. But this is not really important anymore, as the old Russians lose more and more major cities against the Old Empire and the Polish and the Romans. While this happens, the Caspian country and the Central Asian countries can push the Old Empire back even further and even capture this major city right here. They make great progress against the Old Empire, but this won't matter at all, as the Old Empire, after defeating the Russians, can just easily push them back again, and they would lose a lot of land. But the Caspians still keep going because they want to win this war. They hate the Old Empire. They have a great established frontline right here, looking really good. While all this happens, the Old Empire starts their frontline, their spearhead through the capital, slowly pushing up, having more and more troops at the front every day, as I said, bombing the capital already, and now the siege of the Russian capital begins. They try to encircle the capital, but this fails, and they need to retreat from both sides. But they can push up to this major city right here, capture it, and with this they can start another frontline right here. And the Russian capital is under attack. Start a frontline spearhead right here, capturing this major city, and also start a spearhead right here, capturing this major city. The king or the president of the Russians, the emperor, flees to this major city up here after the bombardment of the old empire starts beginning, and the capital falls. After intense 20-day siege, they can capture the capital and establish the next front line. With this, the emperor sees this as an opportunity to retreat again. Now to this major city right here to get as far so far away from the front line as possible. This is obviously not seen well by the public, so it's a lot of outrageous comments about the emperor, the great emperor of the Russians, that made this all possible, but he's already gone. He is not willing to die for his country, so the others won't die either, and a lot of troops again resigned from the army. There are only a few troops left, like 100,000 troops fighting for the Russians, which is not a lot. The old empire has like 1.2 million troops in the field right now. Maybe over-exaggerated. Maybe so 900,000 troops against 100,000. The Polish have also 100,000, and the Romans have 450,000 troops. So the Russians get crushed pretty badly. And now, after this win, the old empire goes to the Central Asian countries and say, if you surrender now, or to Caspia, and says, if you make the other surrender with you, you will not get punished at all. You will not lose any land. You can stay as you are. You get no punishments, nothing at all. And the Caspians go to the other countries and say, this would be a great deal, actually. And they go on for the deal. So they leave the alliance with Russia completely, which we can see right here. See, this is a alliance map. They leave all the circular lines, and now it's only Russia and the Russian puppet against the Square Alliance, which is Rome, Austrians, Poland, the old empire, the Polish the old Imperial puppet, and also the Brittany Pirates Alliance. I don't know what's called. You can give it a name in the comments if you want. But they're gonna leave out of the war and actually get not punished for it. So the front line is stable again, and the old empire can push deeper into Russian territory, going for the next major city up here, and for this major city also. And as these major cities fall right here, the Polish actually disconnect the Russians completely from sea territory that is not completely filled with ice. And with this, the Russian population says they want to surrender, and they search for the emperor. They find them up here, kill him with an ambush. 20 civilians die in this ambush, but the emperor dies also and gets kicked out of power because he's dead. And the new guy gets charged in power for the sole purpose of going to the capitals and surrendering. So he goes off to the capital of the old empire and says, we surrender, I'm the new leader. The old emperor died and I got elected. And with this, the Russian empire falls over to the old empire. And with this, we can have a look at a peace treaty, which actually will include also these two countries, as old imperial troops start to advance into these countries out of nowhere. They have a majority of the troops at the border. No one knows why, but they really have interest in this region as they captured the capital of this country. The Caspians won't do anything because the Russians now are gone and they can't do anything and just wait for their turn getting demolished. But it's not coming, and both these countries surrender. And with this, we can now have a look at this beautiful peace treaty. And this will be the peace treaty of the Fourth World War. As you can see, Russia got completely fucked up. Holy fuck. There's so much to discuss. And also the Caspian region, after the quick sweep through, got also fucked. The Caspians actually lose a bit of land down here as repay for the war. And we will go through this entirely. First off, the German puppet state got released and is now a free country. The Polish expanded their border into the Baltic area right here and this Polish area down here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new major cities in their possession. Then we've got the Estonian country up here, this St. Petersburg country, then this green Polish country that existed before in the first few episodes when the gold team invaded them in Poland. This was like here. This got split in two, this green country and this brown country. Then we got the new Russian country. This is the former, this is now the official Russian country. Then we got the gold team back again. Got a huge amount of land and is reenacted. Not of the gold team officially, but under the same name. It's so back again. Then this East Russia, Central Russian country. Then this Russian country down here. Then we got the North Russian country back again. This pink Russian country right here. And then the Siberian brown country up north. Going down, we will see the yellow country split into 3 pieces. The light blue country, the yellow country staying down here, and this beige country up north, or in the east-north country. Then the gray country also got slammed in the face, also split in 3. The gray country in Central Asia, then this orange country, and this blue country. These are all changes for the war, actually. I really enjoyed this war, multiple episode war. Maybe a bit too long, I don't know, could have been a bit shorter, but overall I really liked it. And before we end this episode, there are some minor things still happening, and we will quickly go over them. First off, obviously, the circle lines is gone, erased from existence. Nothing to see here. Then what I forgot to do is the Pentagon Alliance also gone. And this would be all changes for the alliance map, I think. Yes. And now one war, the Dutch obviously, it's all the outland. And even though the Germans only existed for a few weeks, the Dutch sent an ultimatum saying reintegrate into our territory or we will invade you. The Germans said no, and the Dutch start the invasion, obviously way better prepared, not just released country, so they quickly invade into the country, capturing 3 major cities, 4 major cities, pushing up, disconnecting them from the North Sea, pushing up, disconnecting them from the Baltic Sea, and now capturing the capital, and the country surrenders, and obviously the Dutch will take everything. And with this, the Romans immediately go over to the old empire, saying we want to annex Austria into our country, as we see this Dutch expansion as an aggression. And the old empire agrees to this. The Austrians don't really have any choice, as they're a quote-unquote puppet state of the old empire, as they're in the alliance with a old Empyrean controlled government. So they're gonna get completely annexed by the Romans, and the Romans just expanded greatly with this, threatening the Dutch border immediately. And this will be the final war, or the final annexation, happening in this video. I hope you liked World War IV. I really did enjoy this, but the next war will obviously be better. And I will see you soon in the next episode, episode 16. I hope you liked this episode. Leave a like and a comment if you did. Tell me what you liked the most about this war. I don't know what really to say now, but subscribe. And in the description you will find my Discord server and the official WICSO Discord server. And with this, thank you so much. Bye.